We spent the day inside the governor's office, an office that is now closed, hoping to talk to him about this very issue. And while he declined our request for interviews today, not talking, he and his staffers are getting an earful. It may look like business as usual around the state capitol, but inside Governor Inslee's office...
What can I do for you, ma'am?
Okay, you're requesting veto?
All 10 phone lines...
Thank you, I've got you in the veto column.
...lit up pretty much all day.
I will add you to that. I appreciate your call.
With thousands of calls from concerned constituents.
I will add you. I appreciate your call. You have a good day.
So many that the phone lines jammed earlier today, requiring backup from the state's tech support. The public outcry follows a rare move by Media Organizations United, which put the request for action on their front page.
Please stay on the line for the next available representative.
One tweet mentioned that the waiting time earlier was about an hour.
Are you asking for the governor to veto?
The constant calls are in addition to thousands more emails like the one seen here, obtained through, you guessed it, a public disclosure request. Even King County Council wrote the governor, urging him to veto Senate Bill 6617, controversial legislation fast-tracked and passed by the vast majority of state lawmakers last week to keep their old records private, hidden from public view.
I think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's necessary. Governors, I've been a legislator and an executive, and I know that you can have full disclosure and transparency.
But when asked by MSNBC whether Governor Inslee would veto the bill...
Well, I can't, unfortunately, because they have a veto-proof majority, unfortunately, so I don't have control at this moment. But I have spoken out against it, and I don't think it's necessary, because you can be a good representative and still be transparent about your communications.
The governor can, in fact, veto the legislation despite its veto-proof majority. It's something he's done dozens of times over the years. His veto would then send the bill back to the floor for another vote, forcing lawmakers to go on the record once again to exempt themselves from the same public disclosure law that other local governments and state agencies follow. That could explain the outrage of King County Council members who write, preventing public disclosure of legislative documents will limit the transparency and openness of state government. This is not an acceptable way for our state government to operate.
Good afternoon, Governor's Office. Are you calling to request veto of 6617?
While the calls continue, the clock is running. Governor Inslee has until the end of Thursday to make a final decision. And the governor's phone lines closed today at 5 p.m. But the latest totals we have from his office, so far they've received around 1,800 phone calls and more than 4,000 emails. And King 5 is joining the other media organizations in asking people out there, constituents, to call in to the governor's office and voice their concerns about this bill and also ask for a veto.